Well, good morning. Welcome to Mayor's Weekly. Pleased to have you with us, and I think finally fall has arrived. I'm enjoying this crisp weather. Would like to have some rain, but I guess that'll come soon. Joining me this morning, Brent McCarver, and we want to talk about two projects, road projects, that have been talked about for quite some time, and these projects taking place here in our city, but both of them are taking place under the umbrella of the Alabama Department of Transportation. Right. So as we share with you information about these projects, and then they'll create some inconvenience. There's just no way around it that we don't have the master lever there. We have a great relationship with the Alabama Department of Transportation, and they work with us in any way that they can. Both of these projects are going to be nice enhancements to our city, and we're pleased to be on their radar screen and know that they're willing to help us. And Brent's worked closely with these projects. Brent, why don't we lead off with the one out on Highway 18, and Brent tells you some of the details of this project, and we won't dig too deep into that. The city of Jasper, was the recipient, rounded a couple of $1 million grant, and in order for us to be able to apply for that grant, we had to agree to pay for the engineering cost of the project, and that's probably $300,000, a little better. Fortunately, we had that money. We put the money up, we spent the money, and now the project's becoming a reality. And then we'll move on to a 9th Avenue/195 project. Right. So Brent, share with us, like I said, we'll start on the 118 project.
Well, we met last Thursday. AlDOT had what they call a pre-con meeting, pre-construction.
Pre-construction.
And the entities involved, of course, are the Department of Transportation, the city, Dunn Construction, and locally we're excited and happy too that Gillespie Construction will be doing some of the work on both projects as well. And the plan is, you may have seen them this week. They were out and about around. Easiest way to say it's Jones Dairy, 118, or Old 78, Sonic Urgent Care. It's going to be in that area. And what it'll be is the state has a new highway plan they call access management. And easiest way to think about it is not exactly, but sort of what you see on 280. Or down at the beach, where they have put in some what they call deceleration lanes, some different ways to turn, and they will be doing away with some of the median crossings. And then specifically here, what the point of this is to straighten. If you come out on Jones Dairy to 118 and you wanted to go straight across, right now you actually go across and then have to veer back. This will straighten that crossing. It will increase traffic flow. You know, a lot of times now, if you have for instance, two vehicles trying to turn. Let me ask
this. You said increase traffic flow or ease traffic?
Ease. I should say ease. It won't increase. Good point. Yeah, it will ease it. It will make it more. You will have more people be able to turn, but they will be out of the lane of traffic flow. And so that work will probably begin, weather permitting, with the milling phase on this coming Monday, November 6th. What they will do is the state, the way that they schedule these, they will completely mill down the existing paving that's going to be constructed around. There will be concrete added. That's what Gillespie is going to be doing. There will be some islands, again, deceleration lanes, which will be a way for you to slow down and then get out of traffic as you wait to turn. And then, of course, there will be repaving and striping. The current contract on that is a 45-day contract. And so, in theory...
45 working days.
Working days, right. Not including. And in theory, you'll be 45 days from the day it starts to completion. Now, we know this time of year you're going to have weather. As we said, like you and I laugh about, we hadn't had rain in so long. Once we start doing road work, it'll start raining on us, just sure as the world. But for what you'll do is basically from this next Monday through about mid-December to the end of December, you can be expecting some inconvenience in that area, but all in all, once it's done, the the ability to turn, the ability to get to the businesses along in there will be increased without having to slow down east-west traffic. Two things that I am pleased with the way AlDOT's laid this out. The set construction time is 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. So during the
Which
week,
means most of the work's gonna happen at nighttime.
at nighttime. And it will be Monday through Friday. Now, the other thing that came back, and this is something I think they learned during the big interstate projects in Birmingham, they will allow, if necessary, weekend work, and weekend work could be 24 hours. The way I would consider planning for that is they're not going to work on weekends starting off. If we do get into some rain backup or something like that, they may come in on a Saturday and work 12, 18 hours to get it caught up. And they will do one lane closure at a time. So they will not, there won't be a section where you have both lanes closed in there. Jasper Police will be involved in the traffic control. So as far as travelers, I just make sure to plan, if you need to get through there to get to work or a doctor's appointment or something, you may want to give yourself 15, 20 more minutes when you leave home. But again, it should be relatively in the scheme of this type of deal, and it is a big project, but it should go pretty smoothly.
Well, Brent, we talked about ease in traffic flow. I think it brings a number of safety benefits
Right.
as compared to where we're at today. Isn't that the case?
Yes, it does. The access management starts, and you may say, well, why, if they're going to eventually do this on that stretch of road, why do they start where we would consider the middle? The way that they do that, I learned this this past week as well, is they do look at traffic accidents. They label them all as crashes. If it's a fender bender or if it's a bad wreck, they're all crashes. They look at the number of crashes around a median and intersection, and they deem those as priority. So, and also too, the nature of, and for us that live here, we're real familiar with it. But if you're traveling 118 and you're trying to get somewhere on the Sonic urgent care side, there's 3 different entrances, and it makes it confusing as to where you should turn in if you were going to urgent care or something like that. So the confusion of the area and the congestion of the area coupled with the crashes is how they pick that. So yes, it should greatly decrease that.
And Brent, in all likelihood, as we move along down the road, and we can't say 6 months, a year, 2 years, or whatever, but in our conversations with AlDOT, there's a high likelihood we will see more projects like that along 78, will we not?
Yes. One of the great things, the decision you and the council made a couple of years ago, Sane Engineering, which was the city's engineer of record currently. We have a great relationship with them. Sane is also the AlDOT engineer for statewide Tennessee to Florida, Georgia to Mississippi, Alabama Highway Access Management Program. They actually wrote it. So we're looking at getting some more of those projects between 9th Avenue and roughly, I'd say, the hospital in that area.
Yeah. Well, Brent, you've been around me long enough to know I'm somewhat of an analytical thinker.
Yep.
And as we looked at this early on, and I looked at 2 numbers. The city puts up 300,000, and we get 2 million.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to use my pencil or my eraser at all to figure out that's a good move.
That's right. That's exactly right. If you can put up the smallest amount and get the biggest amount back, that's generally the way it comes out positive.
All right, let's move on to Project 2, Brent.
Project 2. Now, Project 2, we actually, I will be in Fayette along with Russ Smallwood and Billy Wade and Stefan Graber from Sane Engineering to meet with AlDOT this afternoon at their office. Project 2, the state, if you were to look it up on their website, they're going to title it the Highway 5 Overpass Project. Yeah. Sometimes it gets confusing, but in the state's mind, from the overpass back toward Winston County is Highway 5 or 195. We consider it 9th Avenue in some areas, but what that will be is, and again, we will get some more hard details on it this afternoon. So the pre-construction meeting is today. Basically, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, the overpass at that intersection, 9th Avenue and Highway 118, will be taken down. The
bridge, if you will.
the bridge. The hope, and I stress because I sure don't want to, but I know everybody's cringing right now. The hope is that weather and everything, materials, that's another thing we learned in the meeting, and I know we've dealt with it on City Hall. You can plan and schedule and work all you want, but if you can't get the steel here or the concrete or whatever, and concrete is a thing the state is really battling with. There's so many of the Rebuild Alabama projects going on, getting concrete, which you'll be pleased to know right now is coming out of Winfield. Way I understand that, but
And the thing about it is, it's not just any concrete. It's
Right.
It has specifications as far as tensile strength
Yes.
and all sorts of things. So you don't go down and get a batch of concrete like you'd pour in a driveway.
That's exactly right. It has to meet the mix. Matter of fact, it's fascinating to me whenever I meet with them, with the engineers and chemical backgrounds and different things. They will actually check it when it leaves the plant for a mixed component, and they check it when it gets to Jasper again. So it's pretty impressive. But given those things that could arise, they're hoping to have the bridge, once they start now, and again, as you mentioned, working days, 45 days to have the bridge down and started back up, and hopefully within 60 days have it back. Now, that's going to be a stretch. I'll just go ahead and tell you, with weather and everything else, but they're going to focus on the bridge before they
If
do
you're a
any other
betting
work.
person, you would bet it'd take longer.
I would
than
bet
that.
against it, yes, sir. But I did want to share, because if you go online and look at the project, that's what they're going to say. This project also will involve, once they get the overpass or bridge down and back up, reconfiguration slightly of the off and on ramps, and a restructure basically of the Y at the Chevron station for 5 and 195. And that's another thing we've got some questions about. Currently, the one thing I do want to stress from the city standpoint, we will bring up today the detour measures specifically for large trucks. We haven't exactly agreed to and planned yet, and some of that's because of the width of detour roads, some of the work we might have to do, state may have to do. So I can't really tell you yet what the detour specifically, if you're traveling, and now cars won't be a problem, normal travel won't be a problem, but if you're traveling Carbon Hill to Birmingham, if you're traveling west to east and you need to turn back across the overpass to go north, that's the one area we're still going to work out, but hopefully have worked out this afternoon.
Okay. Well, Brent, I know if you go up to the where 195 and 5 come together there, we refer to as the Y. I think there's water line work going on there now in anticipation of this project. Is that right?
That is true, yeah. It's actually the second. They've already done some back closer to Jack's, and what's going on right now is the second. I think there's actually a third that'll go up a little bit further, up 5, to be worked on also, yes.
Best guess, like I said, we're moving into a time where we could have less than favorable weather conditions or whatever, but probably not unrealistic to think that these could be wrapped up by the end of the first quarter of 2024.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, they're I will say this again, the Department of Transportation folks, our local folks, Chuck Cordell and the group here in Jasper, and then again, we have a great relationship with the leadership in Fayette and in Tuscaloosa, Mr. McAdory. They're committed. I will say this, they mentioned in this last meeting when we had the major paving last time and we had it so long milled and a lot of issues there, they mentioned they're well aware of that. So they're trying to avoid any other snafus like we had before.
Brent touched just a little bit. We all know the importance, you can touch on this, but how we've worked on our relationship with Alabama Department of Transportation.
We recently hosted, you hosted, and luncheon with, as we said, we had Mr. McAdory, who's over the entire west region out of Tuscaloosa. He reports directly to the Department Director of Transportation. We had his top-level engineers in both Tuscaloosa, Fayette, and folks from the Jasper office come in and sit down with us for lunch. Our engineers were there, and we had some lengthy and I think really good discussions about the vision and the planning for Jasper. You know, as we grow and everyone out there know, we completely understand we have some traffic issues to work through, some parking and different things like that. And we're looking, and they're very committed to helping us with that. One of the things I've been playing around with since our lunch, the state website, I believe Auburn University puts it together as it's a clearinghouse for road projects, federal money and different things like that. And you know, I think for me, I took away from it, we learned a little bit about how to get grants and how to stay alert. And one thing I will add too, the bridge project at 9th Avenue is 100% paid for by the state. Now, that's not costing the city anything there.
None of that weighs on the general fund of the city of Jasper.
Not at all. So that's another big plus for us there.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, and having a good relationship with ALDOT doesn't mean you get everything you want, but what it generally guarantees is you've got somebody in authority that will be willing to sit down and talk with you, understand your concerns, whatever. And that's really step one to trying to resolve issues or make improvements of that sort of thing. And I have to say that we're in the Fayette region, and I couldn't be happier about that. Those folks are easy to talk with, and you know, you walk in to your phone and you call them right now, they answer the phone, and they hear you out. So and we've seen a lot of benefits come to our city. It ties directly to our efforts of building relationships, and we try to work on that every day. Broad spectrum.
We do, no question.
Good. Well, Brent, I appreciate you coming today. We want to get this information out. It's going to be on the city's website. We've spoken to our local newspaper to give it some publicity so people can be informed about this. Again, there'll be a time that there'll be some inconveniences, but those inconveniences will not be of long duration, and when it's all finished, I think you'll say it's well worth the effort.
Oh yeah, no question. It'll be better than it is.
Right. Look forward to being with you next week. If you have questions, let us hear from you.